Hi, I'm Michael Smith for Nevada Trails. Today I have a very special show. I have Virginia City's Living Legends, and Cher's going to tell us what's going on today.
You know, we're a group of about 140 people.
140?
140. We have volunteers that come as far away as Austin, Texas, San Francisco, Santa Rosa. You'll see us at a lot of different festivals around town. You'll see us at the Wild West Show. You'll see us in Virginia City. But I'd really like to focus on Virginia City here and tell people that when they come up, what we can show them.
Well, my first exposure to people dressed up at Virginia City was the David John and Comstock Cowboys.
Wonderful band.
And so when they're not playing, they're walking around in costume. Are they close to the period? Would that be normal, what people would look like?
Yeah, they would. I mean, you know, when we're talking about our Virginia City Living Legends, some people enjoy dressing in pioneer garb, minor clothing. Some prefer to do Civil War outfits. Some like gunfighters. Some of the gals go in full hoop, Victorian bustle, up to 1900. So there's a wide variety of period attire.
When I dress in period attire, I'm the banker, and my fiancée is the schoolmarm.
Hey, that sounds pretty good.
I'll take your money anytime.
Well,
you
sorry,
look great. Tell me what you're wearing.
Okay, so I am wearing about an 1885 bustle dress, so I'll turn and you can see that this is actually a caged bustle that I'm wearing. So when we dress up, we start with, you know, petticoats and chemises and pantaloons. And then I put the cage bustle on, and then you put the underskirt on, and then you put the skirt on, and then you put the polonaise top on. So it takes a while for me to get dressed.
I was going to say, how long does it take you to get dressed?
Once I'm out of the shower and I have makeup on and everything, my husband has to help me into the corset, and probably a good 20 minutes of just dressing if everyth's laid out.
Well, he's a nice guy. That'd help
He is
you
a
out.
nice guy. He's a good man.
Well, how often do you go to Virginia City to entertain the tourists that come to town?
Well, it depends. Certain volunteers are there almost daily. They live up in the area.
Okay.
I tend to go up in the summertime about 2 days a week. In the wintertime, much less, because I get cold.
Well, when you're wearing this, do you have like an umbrella for this summer type
Certainly.
thing?
So a lady would never have gone outside without her gloves, without her hat, without her umbrella. That's just appropriate. Part of that was because a lot of the ladies of that time were Northern European, and they were protecting themselves from the sun.
Well, not only the sun, but it's also windy there, right?
It's very windy.
So what do you do for the wind with dust and things?
The dust isn't so bad, but what's really important are hat pins.
Okay.
So my hair is twisted up in a ponytail on top of my head, and then I put the hat on, and then I put giant needles through the hats to hold my hat on.
I'm glad I'm not a woman.
It's a wonderful thing. When people come up to Virginia City, they're looking to have a good time. And we love doing it. We're all volunteers, and we just have a terrific time.
Well, how many do you have again?
We have 140 on the books. Of those, I would say 80 to 90 are active. And again, you have people who come in from out of state.
And you're all volunteers.
We're all volunteers. So when people come up to Virginia City, if you have a group that's coming, call the visitor center, let them know you're coming, and let them know you'd like a tour. I mean, as a volunteer, I take tour groups around town all the time. And it's fun. It's really, really fun.
Well, I know you're pretty aggressive. My mom called from Florida and said, "What's going on?" And so they got her talked into wanting to go soon.
Good.
So she's coming for the weekend, and we're going to spend some time at Virginia City. So I have something to plan for.
So one of the fellows actually on this poster, you've got Diamond Jim, who's on the left. Okay. He works at our visitor center. And
okay.
The woman in the middle is from Australia. The fellow on the right is Stinky, and you'll also see him in Virginia City almost daily in the summertime. He's a nice guy.
Well, I've seen your commercials. That was pretty well done about Step Back in Time.
Right. So our goal is to keep history alive. I mean, we want to keep the real, active, living history going. As I said, it's so much fun. I can't tell you.
And what else do you do? Do you have other reenactments or type of things? Or?
Well, certainly. We certainly have several parades a year. I mean, Labor Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Christmas, and we're very active in all of those. But as things go on, you also have the camel races in Virginia City, or there's a Civil War reenactment first weekend in September.
Parades, too, right?
All the time.
All the time. I love parades.
Oh, they're a blast. They're really great fun. And, you know, you'll see 50, 60, 70 living legends out there for that.
Well, I noticed you brought some living legends here that are armed. Are they
Yes.
are they dangerous? So we put a special gate up for them or something, or
Perhaps you should.
we have whips and guns in the audience here.
We do have whips and guns for you. I am unarmed at the moment. But many of the gals do carry small little revolvers with them.
That's good to know.
Yeah, better be careful and polite.
Well, let's bring on some of the other living legend guests, and we'll be right back. Thank you. Hi, we're back, and we have with us a man who has a whip. Tell me about that.
Well, if you've ever been to any of the big events here in Nevada, I mean, if you've been to the Wild West Fair or over in Genoa or up in Virginia City, you've probably seen Doc Durden. Doc is our premier bullwhip fellow. And just from personal experience, having walked in front of him in many parades up in Virginia City, he is exceptionally accurate and has gotten very close to the back of my bustle on several occasions, making me fly up in the air. And he laughs. So, Doc?
I do. Indeed, I do have several bullwhips. I'm around town, and I do spontaneous shows here and there, up and down the street. And I'm the only free show in town, I believe. So anyway, but I do go ahead and work with the theater group that's on the south side, right? Yeah, the south side of B Street. And I'm the warm-up guy. I get everybody excited, and so I do a Wild West show on Saturday and Sunday in Virginia City, and certainly. I do have to make a comment about that. You know, I've been to several small towns throughout the country, and they're all historical little towns, and I love them all. But you know what? There's no town like Virginia City. I kind of put my roots in Virginia City because certainly of the tourism that we have, and because of the what I believe the Bonanza series is the second Bonanza that Virginia City has had, and Bonanza plays currently all over the world, and we meet those people in Virginia City. We have in any given Saturday or Sunday during the peak of the tourism, we'll have people from Germany, we'll have people from the Pacific Rim, we'll have people from Vietnam, for crying out loud, and India. It's just an incredible array of tourism that we have in Virginia City, and I'm certainly happy to be there.
Well, thank you very much. One thing I'd like to note is, you know, we are all volunteers up in Virginia City, and it's really exciting when folks come up and they bring their family and they bring their friends and they bring their international guests. Many of us are multilingual, so I mean, I'll go up and I'll see a group talking in German, and I can join right in. We have people who speak French, people who speak Flemish, people who speak Spanish, and it's really wonderful. I mean, it's a joyous place to be on a nice day.
Well, one thing I've noticed about the people from Virginia City, they're very loyal. And that's one reason why I do these shows about Virginia City is because it just gets in your blood that you want to help out. Mm-hmm. And you're just another example. And when you feel that, you just want to say, I want my mom to visit there. And so, anyways, how'd you get used to playing with a whip? I mean, how'd that start? Did you start as a kid? I had one as a kid myself.
No, actually, quite the contrary. I had no visitations to whips when I was younger at all. That came about in the last 4 or 5 years, 6 years probably. Yeah, well, you know what? I've been in the business a while, and for the most part, I wear 3 guns. I forgot my shoulder holster for this interview, unfortunately. But anyway, I wear 3 guns all the time. And for the most part, I have the menfolk right from the get-go, because that's a male thing, right? But what I've learned is that the womenfolk will actually walk away. And I can't have that. The women are the most important person in my audience. They are bringing the family unit to all my events. So I can't have the women folk walking away from me because we're talking about guns. So,
well, describe your outfit for me.
Well, yeah, this period here, it goes back to right around 1870s, right around 1880s. Mm-hmm. This coat here happens to be one of a kind, and we do have the seamstress that actually put this coat together.
We'll meet her in a few minutes.
She's fabulous. So you're not going to see one of these. But like I say, I do have several guns that I do wear. These happen to be 2 that I wear today, and the boots.
Notice the spurs going.
Yeah. And then we have vaquero pants that I do wear. This is a lot of bling, and that's to attract, again, the women folk.
Well, you look fantastic. I tell you, when you go to Virginia City, definitely say hi to Doc, and you do 2 shows on Saturday and Sunday?
Definitely do that.
And we'll be right back with Maureen, who designed your costume, I guess.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, we're back, and we're with Maureen, who's designed all these outfits. They're absolutely beautiful. I had a guest on the show from the Civil War era, and you designed hers as well. And it's absolutely, the time you spent doing this is amazing. Sharon, can you ask her a couple questions on what she does for Virginia City?
Of course, Maureen also made the outfit that I'm wearing. I sew, but I'm not nearly as good as Maureen is. You can find Maureen's designs on YouTube, or if you're on Facebook, you can look under Maureen Hepner. We were talking a little earlier about, Maureen and I are in an 1870s, 1880s type style right now. And I asked Maureen earlier, how did they go from the hoop skirt type style of the Civil War era into having the big bottom look? And so we're not wearing hoop skirts today, but what Maureen was telling me is the gals here in the West were working. We were not ladies of leisure. And the hoop skirts would get in the way, and with all the petticoats. And so eventually they would be pulling them back to make it easier to work and to get around town. And as that happened, they kept pulling them back, and they kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger on the rear end. Now, again, wearing the cage bustle underneath makes it much easier than other ways. But I wanted to talk about Maureen's couple of outfits here. This dress is beautiful. She just made this for someone up in Virginia City. I actually bought the fabric in Liverpool, and Maureen designed. Yeah, Liverpool, England. My husband's English. And you'll notice this has a shorter bodice. This one has a short sleeves. We have beading on it. Lovely detail. The women of the Victorian era liked color. So, obviously you weren't going to get, neon orange or something, but you were going to get a lot of color and a lot of embroidery, a lot of beautiful details. They would have used jet beading on them. You would always have a basic skirt. You might have a bustle and an overskirt, the bodice. There's a lot of different pieces that go into this. Maureen's outfit is made out of an embroidered material, and again, she has a full bustle on back. Her trim is different, so you've got a fringe trim here. I'm wearing fringe trim too. And we've got beading. All the gals, as I said earlier, would have worn hats, primarily to protect yourself from the sun. What other kind of details? I know she made Doc Durden's coat as well.
The details on the back we haven't seen.
So the details on the back of Doc, he has velvet buttons and velvet panels. It's really a spectacular piece of work. So when you're making outfits like these, they can easily take a good 40 hours, a full week, and they can take up to 10 yards of material. So they're not inexpensive to produce. So as I said, I bought the fabric of this in Liverpool because I happened onto a fabric shop that was having a great sale. My husband was not happy bringing home 12 yards of fabric in our luggage. So what else can we talk about on this costume?
Well, a lot of you are, I guess from previous shows, that you're all in character for a particular character. Now, do you study the people's characters and try to say what that person might wear?
We do try. I originally tried to dress as Mary Louise Mackey.
Right.
John Mackey's wife.
4'10".
Yeah, but I found out she was 4'10", about 90 pounds, and a brunette. So that just wasn't going to work for me. But I thought, if I'm going to go back in time and portray a character, I want to portray somebody really rich. I have 3 kids in college. I can be poor today. That's easy. But I thought if I'm going to go back in time, I really wanted to be top of the heap. So, too bad she was a brunette. That was a downfall. I was very disappointed there. I was just going to show you the back of this dress as well, how beautiful it is.
That's what makes you the upper-class lady.
The upper-class lady, right, was all the trims and everything else and the quality of the fabric. Now, realize they didn't wash their dresses back then. They would brush them. They would sponge off spots. But, if you lived in the 1870s and 1880s, it was a much different time as far as ladies dressing. I don't think ladies ever got dressed alone. It's almost impossible to get into the full period attire myself.
Well, I had the other guests had the hoops on, and that's why we're all standing up, because there's no way to sit down. Well, I was just thinking, I was flashing back to Gone with the Wind, when she took down the drapes. Is that normal back then?
For fabric?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. It's any fabric. Actually, it depends on which coast you're on. If you're on the East Coast, you're most likely to get the fresh fabric from Europe. And then they would transport, as they got out of that style, it would head west. So the fabric or the outfits had already been worn by the time they hit the girls that actually had to work the farms. And and they would remake them with whatever they had.
Excellent. Well, we're going to go to another living legend. This one is he's carrying guns, so we'll be right back.
The period streets of Virginia saw personalities which included working-class miners, merchant-class businessmen, and the tycoon class, whom we recognize as the silver barons and financiers of the Comstock. To keep themselves presentable on dusty streets and to meet the standards of decorum imposed by Victorian society, men wore a variety of clothing. One gentleman here wears a long linen duster. This garment is designed for riding a horse, the open back making it easier to sit in the saddle properly. Another wears a heavy wool topcoat to keep him warm when the temperatures dip suddenly. His broad-brimmed hat protects him from sun and wind, unlike the first man who wears a derby. In this gold and silver-rich area, attitude came with altitude, and this is headwear born of promise, confidence, and hard work. One character has gone coatless, his shirt sleeves visible and the mule ears on his boots flapping as he strides past us. Not at all acceptable for a gentleman to exhibit, but rakish and undaunted he remains, and he's a symbol of the hope and the promise which so broadly define Virginia City and the Comstock Lug.
Hi, we're back, and this character's got guns, he's got rifles, he's got pistols, and I think he shoots them in situations. Could you help him explain?
Actually, of all the people in the living legends, if you're going to do a gunfight, Mr. Eugene Blair or Mr. Deke DiMarzio, depending on what day you pick him, is the guy to talk to. Deke has an ex-law enforcement background and does wonderful gun shows and also portrays a character up in Virginia City.
Excellent.
Well, I do. I portray Eugene Blair, and he come from Maine, 1865, around there. Went to work as a miner down there in the Collar Potassi mine. Didn't like being underground, that's for sure. So come up and got me a job as a jailer down there in the Virginia City jail, and then became a police officer right there in Virginia City.
Well, isn't that kind of a tough job for all the people with money and booze and working so hard?
Well, yeah, it has its dark side, that's for sure. All I can say, you got your gambling, you know, and then you got a lot of them opium dens down there on they call it the Barbary Coast, down there around Fourth Ward School.
I didn't know that.
Oh, big vices down there. If you're looking for something bad, it's down around that place. And we have the gambling and lots of alcohol, lots of liquor going on. You got money, got weapons, got prostitution, got them red light ladies down on D Street.
Is this the past or now?
Well, this isn't. The past is now. That's where I got that garter on my arm there from Jezebel. Jezebel down on D Street. She's my gal. And we have, murder's pretty commonplace on the street there. Virginia City, especially B and C streets. We have miners. We have gunfights, lots of gunfights. A lot of people don't think Virginia City was a gunfighting town. And it's not a gunfighting town by them Hollywood standards, but there are gunfights erupt anywhere, and any one of them bars become a run and gunfight down the street. And then lots of murders, too. A lot of violent town, just like its sister Bodie down there, California. So anyway, I went on from there. I went down to Lincoln County for a short time. The deputy sheriff down there got my leg broke, bar fight. And then I come back to Virginia City, found out that being a Wells Fargo shotgun messenger was paying more money than being a deputy or a police officer. So I become a Wells Fargo shotgun messenger. Never got successfully robbed. Wells Fargo even wound up burying me, paying for my burial when I finally died. Ripe old age of 39. I know I don't look day over 21 right now. But then at one point I become U.S. Deputy Marshal. And I actually live with the Justice of the Peace right there on C Street. Yepers. And wound up killing one of the outlaws there in Virginia City by the name of Big Jack Davis. Some people call him Gentleman Jack Davis. And then I wound up killing also outlaw Johnny Carlo. Both of them tried to hold up my stage. That's the wrong thing to do on a Sunday with me around.
That's a bad idea to pick on you. Well, I want to do a little segue, Deke. You had mentioned that you're involved with a museum. Could you tell us about that? We have about a minute and a half.
I am. I'm the host at the Silver State National Police Museum, which is located right next door to Piper's Opera House up there in Virginia City. And it is a national museum, has artifacts from police departments all over the country, all the way back to 1784. The artifacts go back. And it is a great place. Don't miss it. All kinds of history there, all kinds of history about the Story County Jail, the 1877 jail, and all of the nanigans that went on up there. And then I'm also president of the Devil's Gate Gunfighters, and we're a reenactment group, do special events, do weddings. Sometimes we hang the groom and steal the bride. Might even steal a bride's maid.
Shotgun wedding?
Yeah, shotgun weddings, if that's what it calls for, that's for sure.
Do you have a web address or a phone
Well, I got is one of them phone numbers, 775-450-1128. You want to hire the Devil's Gate Gunfighters for your event. And, yeah, we even rob the trains sometimes. We rob banks. Sometimes we get in a gunfight just for fun of it.
How often do you have gunfights?
Well, summertime, we're pretty busy. So our next one is coming up on a weekend, and we're going to be robbing the train for about 100 people and putting on a show for them, and might make out pretty good on that robbery. That's what I'm thinking.
Come to Virginia City and check out the robbery and say hello to you, or Deke for short, and we'll be right back with Sarah. Thank you.
Why, you ornery old hound dog, I've been looking for you for 2 months of Sundays. Now I finally got you.
You talking to me, mister?
That's right, you better prepare to die, that's all I know.
Die?
Hi, we're back with a very special treat. We have Sarah Winnemucca, who's portrayed by somebody, and she's going to do a Chicago for us.
Yeah, Diana Borges is another one of our volunteers up in Virginia City. She's a living legend, and she portrays Sarah Winnemucca.
Well, thank you so very much. I had many a very fun time in Virginia City. You know, I used to go up there and dance on Friday nights. Yes, one of the very many balls. And I would come and travel all that way. And, of course, my dance